Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, traders. Steve here at Logic FX Trading, and welcome to our weekly FX analysis video. As you're all aware, there's pandemonium going on in Ukraine, and massive sanctions have now been put on the Russian economy, and obviously that will affect the economy of the rest of the world. We don't know how badly yet, but we've got to be aware of that. On the currency markets, obviously, it produces opportunities, and we'll have a look at those. What happened last week and where I think they're going to move next week. Let's just start with the economic calendar. This obviously isn't as important as ordinarily it would be because things are being overshadowed, guys. But let's just keep an eye on it to see if there's anything we need to, focus on, either positive or negative for potential trades. So we're looking at the next 7 days, guys. So March the 1st, 20th of February, so it'll be tomorrow, guys. Manufacturing PMI out of China. Interesting to see what's going on there, guys. I've quite a few Chinese stocks, which I took a gamble on. I don't know how good or bad a gamble it's going to turn out to be. I think I just need to be brave with that one and hang on to them because they're good companies, guys, the likes of Baba and NIO and companies like that, Neo, 10 cent, all have been hammered recently, guys. So we'll see how that turns out. Australian interest rate decision. I don't have the forecast is they'll not move it, but the Aussie has been getting stronger against the New Zealand recently. Haven't managed to trade it, but I wish I had have because we did call it long a few months ago, guys. And I think I took one trade and got stopped out for a zero, but should have got back into it. Didn't get into it. Inflation rate in Italy, Germany inflation rate, GDP growth rate in Canada, United States manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing PMI. See how that comes out tomorrow. Nothing here, guys, that I with current circumstances, I don't think there's much here that will really move anything. Canada expecting an interest rate hike, which could be good for the CAD. Remember also the oil price being where it is at the moment will be good for the CAD. ISM non-manufacturing in the United States, non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. Yet again, the difficulty we have now is with circumstances being the way they are, do the Fed change their mind about what they're going to do? There was an awful lot of talk about the Fed hiking by 50 basis points. Maybe they hold back on 50 and come out with 25, guys. Nonetheless, the dollar as a safe haven has moved up in the direction we expected it to, in some situations quite massively last week. And we'll look at the charts now and have a look at that. There's the move on the 4-hour DXY chart, guys, the dollar index. We called it. You can see the arrow there from way back here. We said it was going long. We've been calling it long all year, guys. It's just about when you get in. I called this short. Do you remember a few weeks ago when everyone was saying it's going to go long here? I said this will go short, and then I said it'll go long. Then we had the little scare where this pulled back, where I got caught out on this because I traded this long in the euro. We'll go and look at the euro. I traded it short there, obviously long the dollar. And Christine Lagarde came out and said she was quite bullish and the market moved long. And I said, guys, as far as I'm concerned, the dollar's going to continue to strengthen. So I hung on to that. And it dropped quite dramatically on Thursday, Friday, whenever, was it Thursday the war was, Wednesday? Whatever the 24th was, guys. I can't remember exactly what day it was. It was Thursday, I think it was. And off it went. And I got into profit, guys. And when it got down around here, I took my profit off because often you get these things and then you'll get a pull back on them. So there was the pullback. Now it's moved down a little bit. It's going to hang around there for a while. If we go back and look at DXY, there it is on DXY. And what we said last week was, I actually moved these because they kept going off. All of the dollar alarms were going off and they just kept moving them. And then they'd go off again, they'd move them again. So we're now in a little bit of a correction of that move, a little bit of uncertainty as to what's going on. I think this war's going to be a sticky one, guys. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. There's no way out for Putin. He's made a mistake, but he's not going to lose face, or he's going to try and not lose face. He's talking about nuclear armaments, and that's just bull, guys. If he's fired his nuclear weapons, we all know what's going to happen. They'll be the end of the world, and that's not going to happen. So, and he knows that. It's just a lot of bluster. He probably will eventually take Kiev and other central places. The Ukrainian army will eventually be defeated, just as the Saddam Hussein's army was defeated. But what happened after that? Years of insurgency, guys. Guys out of uniform, planting IEDs, disrupting everything, blowing up tanks, shooting down helicopters, being supplied by the West all the armaments they need. That's what's going to happen, guys. He's up the river without a paddle. But as I said to one of my friends this morning, a cornered rat is a very dangerous thing. So we'll have to see what happens. But more upside for me to the dollar. Listen, we called 100 a while back, guys. We called 100 a while back, and it's continued to move in that direction. Europe's economy is going to be hit harder by this than the American economy. At some point, they're going to have to stop taking supplies of oil and gas from the Russians. That's a must. But they'll have to spend a few weeks or months trying to organise other supplies, obviously, but that will hold them back. You might even see power cuts in Europe, guys. So I can't see the euro strengthening out of this. So more upside for the dollar for my far as I can work out, guys. Unless all of a sudden there was a peace negotiation and the Russians pulled out. That's not going to happen, guys. Pure and simply because Putin's a maniac, like all dictators. Okay, Euro US, I can only see more downside to it. Doesn't mean it's going to go today, guys, but we maybe get a bit of a pullback here. But the trend's continuing short. Worst case scenario, it'll run flat, guys. So there's no upside to this. Don't be trying to trade it up. Pound, yet again, there was that move, guys. Remember, this is in 4 hours. When you're watching these, in the 1 hour time scale, when they're live and they're going and going and going, they're massive moves, folks. So pound UK, I think the economy will be hit by this as well. Already getting hit by inflation. Possibly more downside to this. Aussie, well, there you have a nice move back up with the Aussie, because of that interest rate decision that should be coming out. So obviously people are gambling that, but I wouldn't trade anything against the dollar at the minute, guys. It's just too risky. It doesn't mean the dollar can't pull back from its position, which it already is doing, but it's a risky thing to try and trade the dollar short at the minute. So yet again, we got that, but it hasn't got to the target that I said, set the target back to the previous low. I imagine it will get there at some point. The only thing about New Zealand and Australia is they're kind of out of it a little bit, guys. They're more Asia Pacific than they are. I know they're English speaking countries, but they're Asia Pacific based economies, so they're not going to be as hit as badly by this, I don't think, and that's the reason why maybe you're seeing a little bit more strength in the Aussie and the New Zealand. CAD and the dollar, well, from way back we said it was going to go long. It's slowly but surely moved its way up. I also said not to trade it, guys. You have to be honest in these things. Reason being, it's the oil price was going up, CAD strengthening, so you're trading strength against strength. So no definitive direction for that. Although we did call it long, but I didn't try and trade that. US Swiss. Little bit of strength there this morning in the Swiss. I imagine the gold price is pushed up. Stocks are going to be short today, guys, after a couple of nice days, Thursday and Friday last week. I did consider Friday evening closing a few things out, because I did really well, 4.5% in a couple of days there, guys. And I thought just take it off the table, take some of it off the table, but didn't do it, guys. So there'll be a drawdown today, probably push up in gold, move to safety. As I said last week, the one thing that's become deadly apparent here is that cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, is no replacement for gold, guys. No replacement for gold. I thought that the whole of last year, but everybody was saying it was a replacement for gold, and I just thought, you know what, you're going against thousands of years of economic history. Gold's the thing, guys. And Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was going down, gold was going up. US Swiss or Swedish, sorry guys, always a good trade when you get it right. And I think it'll just continue to move along. Yet again, very close to the Russian border. If things escalate, I don't think they will escalate, guys, but obviously you've got to keep it in mind. Dollar yen, I was expecting maybe a little bit more down on this last week before the war happened, as it were, and then we got the move long, but the trade was long, just the timing of it. So anyone that got in there would have done okay. The reason was a bit wary of this was because the yen's also a safe haven. So clearly not necessarily good to trade the dollar against the yen in this situation, this circumstance. And then now I am long in this, guys, and it's defying logic that it keeps going down, guys. It's quite frustrating. Did mention last week that even a couple of the commentators in Bloomberg were saying, scratching their head at this one, because the Chinese central bank are being accommodative and the Fed are tightening. So this should go long. And even with what happened last week with the dollar, it didn't get a push. Quite frustrating. I don't know. I might put a stop loss under it and just take the hit, guys. I don't know. It should be going long. And if you look at the chart on a daily time scale, look how much it's come down. It's one of those, isn't it, guys? Where you get an impulse and then it's not necessarily an ending diagonal, but you get an impulse and then slowly and then up it starts to come, or vice versa. And you get that sort of situation and then runs out of momentum and then you get a correction. I would imagine there would be a nice correction back up there. But so far it hasn't happened, guys. And, just keep believing, I suppose. Just put a stop loss underneath it if you're in this. And if it goes down any further, for now, let it hit the stop loss. But keep an eye on it, because there should be a move up on this, guys. Look at the last time it dropped. Look at that move. That's the move I was trying to catch here, folks. Gold. Well, there you are, guys. This is on the daily, remember. This is on the daily. Now, I am long gold for far too long from way back over here. I was long gold. But gold mining companies, guys, not gold itself. I have been in and out of a couple of... I have an ETF as well, but it's gold mining companies. So a little bit of gold. It's nothing compared to the size of the account, because I kind of run out of enthusiasm for it. So I've been taking little bits off the table over the last... Sorry, I should just actually put that one back in. It's pulled back a little bit this morning there, guys, but I can see upside. I can see it coming to here. Whether it goes directly there or hangs about a bit and eventually gets there. But it's the first time I've really believed in gold in over a year, folks. We did call it long way back over here. We called gold long, and up it went. And then since the pandemic, after we got the initial move up, it's just corrected, and that was the time then that you got all the BS being talked about cryptocurrencies, and you need to be careful who you listen to, folks. New kids in the block always think they know something that okay, boomer, that saying that kind of, you go, yeah, but the boomers have been around for 50, 60, 70 years. The world doesn't change that much, folks. You get a bit new technology, but the underlying fundamentals of the economy are exactly the same. Okay, the top boomer. I mean, Warren Buffett's not even a boomer. He was born even before that. One of the richest guys in the world. Go and listen to him if you want to really understand something about investing. Yeah, and silver's the same. We said from down here it's going to go long. Initially, when we saw this, I thought this would push down a little bit more to give us a nice diagonal here, guys. And then when it turned here, I thought, well, that's not going to happen. But from this sort of level, $20, 21, what was it there? $21 for an ounce of silver, pretty cheap. Even if you had to hang on to it for a while, guys, it was always going to go up from there. And there you have it. It's already moved up to 24.50. And I think there's more upside to silver. Bitcoin. Let's get off the daily, guys, and let's move back down to the 1 hour. We get some more detail on this. Right, let's go back to the daily first. 4 hours we'll go to. When we were up here, I drew a line along here. It might have been exactly that line. It might have been moved a little bit since, but we drew two parallel lines in there, if you remember. And I did something like that, and I put a circle there. And I said from there I would think about trading Bitcoin long. From that's that zone, as it were, if it were to get down to there, then once it gets down to there, you look at it closer and decide when you're going to pull the trigger on it, and look for setups, one thing and another. But in these general overviews, that's what it was. I said it'll pull back down if it pulls. Listen, I didn't know that it would pull back down. What I was saying was the only place that I would buy it would be if it pulled back down to that level. So there's a difference in that, guys, for anyone. I know there's not a lot of people listen to these, but anyone that's new that listens to this, that wasn't a place to buy Bitcoin. That's the point. So what you do is you say, listen, it's getting too overvalued. It could push on up from here. But a sensible trader would wait for it to come back down. If it comes back down, it's worth buying. If it doesn't come back down, leave it alone, find something else to buy. That's the point of it, guys. It's not about knowing what's going to happen. It's about setting things up and saying, well, if that happens, then that would be a good place to buy it. But if that didn't happen, then you just got to let it run. If it was a bus and it slowed down enough for you to get on the thing. But if it keeps accelerating away from you, wait for the next bus. That's the point of it, guys. Okay, so we had a nice little move up there. I can't remember if I bought into this or not. I've sold all cryptocurrencies on the on my eToro account. They were just getting in the way of it, guys. I did say for long time that I wouldn't buy cryptocurrencies in the eToro account, and I went nuts a couple of months ago, and I bought a lot, and they all went into the red, and I just thought to myself, I don't like this, and I closed them all for a loss. I have cryptocurrency in a different account, but it's just a little bit of a gamble, guys. I'm mining a little bit and storing it up, and I'll hold on to it for 6 months or a year or whatever length of time it takes for it to come good. But I'm certainly not trading in eToro, guys. It's too unpredictable. Where's this going next? Well, it certainly could dip further from here, but I do think it will come back. I do think it will go long, but it could be it could be a year or more before the economy is strong enough for people to want to gamble on cryptocurrencies, guys. I've no doubt that they will come back again. They're not as bad as meme stocks, but nonetheless, if you look at, do you remember this? When everybody and their dog was talking about Bitcoin, this was back in 2018. Or was it before then? No, I think it was 2018. Look how long it ran flat for. And then we got that, and then we got this long drawn out period of correction, winter they called it. And I remember looking at it around here, guys, $4,000. I'm thinking about getting involved in it, but I was too busy thinking about other stuff, and I didn't. And up it went again. And then what happened? Down it comes. Look at how far it dropped, guys. right back to where it had been, and then off it went again. Now this is massive. So what I was thinking with this, when we got this situation, I said, well, this could be going up in a diagonal, guys, and it could well be still doing that. That was the reason for putting the two. You remember we were there at that point. We put the two diagonals in and said this could well drop back down into this sort of zone and then go again. I don't know if we're going to get that or whether it's going to, do what it did there and before and then run flat for a year or so and then start to come up. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to necessarily get involved in it at this point. Okay. And Ethereum's exactly the same. You see the same structure. We're on the daily here, guys. There was a bit of a move up. I was saying last week or the week before that it could continue to go up. Not entirely sure what that arrow's for, but probably I was saying, but it could drop and then go long from there. I think it will go long, but it's how long are you going to have to wait for it to go long? So at this point in time, I wouldn't bother. Other than if you're a holder. If you've got it and you're adding to your position and you've bought it more expensive than that and you're going to dollar average down your cost, then fair enough. Grab a little bit now, and if it drops a little bit more, grab another little bit, and maybe in 5 or 6 or 10 years' time you could double your money, and it could happen sooner. But it's a speculative one. Okay, oil. Let's get off the daily, guys. Just before we go, last time I bought oil was here at $20, and it did that, and I thought, I'm not doing that again. But I did say it would go long from there. We put that arrow in long time ago. We put that arrow in, guys. I wish I knew. I'm going to maybe put dates on here. I wish I knew when I put that arrow in, but it was possibly in here somewhere. And then we did this squiggle a while ago, and we said it would go up. Thought it would go flat. That's what the squiggle was indicating, running flat there. You see the two, basically saying, listen, this is going to run flat, but I do think eventually it'll break out and it'll hit $100. Well, the war came and off it went. Didn't even run flat, guys. Just a little bit of a hint of a flat, and then off it went. What do you do from here? Well, it's going to stay high. The same I've been saying all the last year, guys. It's going to stay high. There's no story for it dropping. If it drops, it'll be a little bit here and a little bit there. Not worth trying to trade. So, I don't trade oil. It's just too expensive, guys. But it would have been nice to have bought it back there and been brave enough to hang on to it for all that time. EuroCAD, probably short. Yeah, that's what we said last week. Yeah, short, guys. It's moved. There's possibly more downside to it, but I wouldn't just jump in short there. Euro was also short, said it would go short. There's the big arrow. Was moving this a lot the other day. It's going to continue to go down. I think it's going to continue to go down, guys. And I'm not in any of them, so what we were doing here. Euro New Zealand is going to continue to drop. Had the alarm went off the other day, guys, but it would spike up and down. You see the arrow there. It's going to continue to drop. Yet again, I'm not trading it, but you've got to find the right circumstance, guys. Right setup. Euro yen, I think. No, leave that one alone. Too much relies on what's going on at the minute, guys. If the war continues, the yen could strengthen up, and the euro, you'd see the euro dropping. So potentially that's got more downside to it, but I don't think I'll trade it. Euro Swiss, yet again, it's not at a great position to be getting involved in it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was more downside to this. Pound CAD just continued to move in the direction that we said it would. No, I'm not going to try and trade that. Pound Oz did what we said it would do. Have to, we're more or less there. Maybe it's got a bit more down, but you got to wait for a structure to set up, guys, and then you have to be brave enough to get involved in it as it starts. And once you're well developed, for me, it's not a place to get into something. We had this move up. I said there'd probably be a correction of that, a move down. It started doing this, and that's what it was pointing out the other day. You can go back and watch these things if you want, guys. But I was basically saying, look, it's doing that and it's going to drop. Wiggle, 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 down it will go. You can see what it drew there. And that's exactly what it did. So anyone that shorted that will have done okay for themselves. I didn't. Pound New Zealand, same thing. New Zealand and Aussie always move in the same directions, guys. Just there's the phase between the two and switches back and forward, which is why you get that. The Aussie New Zealand goes like that. So, while one's going long, the other one's going long at a lesser pace, and while one's going short, the other one's going short at a lesser pace, and that's how you end up with a flat, as it were. Pound Swiss, yet again. I know I had the arrow like that, but it's another one that if you shorted it from up there, you've done okay. Is it going to drop again? I don't know. Possibly. I don't expect it to go long anytime soon. Pound euro. I never liked trading the pound euro. Pound yen. Same again, guys. It's the move to safety. I've got that little cross there saying, listen, that's not going to happen. Whatever it was saying, that's why I've got the cross over there, guys. Don't be trying to trade it long, was what I was saying the other day. And it was correct because it's run flat. It hasn't dropped yet, but could well be more downside. But it's not something I want to try and trade at the minute. Aussie yen. Yet again, this is something from a way back here. We said would go long. It looks like from here when it was a little double top, I called it short. It's running flat at the minute. There is a bit of strength to the Aussie, but if there's, depending on how the market sees the fallout of this war, you could see strength in the yen. Therefore, I wouldn't try and trade this. It's too tricky to try and work out which direction it's going to go. Aussie New Zealand. I think it's going to continue long, guys. And what we were saying the other day when we were here, that it would be nice to see it coming down into here. And then obviously I've said that 2 or 3 times. That's why it's so need to just clean it. It's another one of those situations where you say, well, if it did that, I would be quite happy to trade it long. And if it didn't do that, then I'm a little bit wary. But back over here, when we were here, I said, listen, this is going to go long. I think I was long in it, and then I got stopped out around here somewhere. I put my stop loss to 0 too quick. Got stopped out, and then I missed all of this, guys. And this is just a correction of that move up there. Can it do that? It can, because it could give you a nice zigzag before it goes again. Therefore, I would love to see that, and if I saw that, I would probably put a trade on there, but from here I wouldn't put it. I think the direction's long, guys, but I wouldn't put a trade on there. I would wait for to see if it drops. If it drops, then I'd put the trade on. Aussie Swiss, same as with the Aussie New Zealand, guys. The Aussie gets a boost from gold price as well, by the way, but I wouldn't trade that one. Not at the minute. Aussie CAD. You know what I'm going to say about that. Anyone's listened to me, I never know what direction this is going in. I just don't have a handle on it. And I keep saying I'll get a handle on it, but I'm more focused on stocks at the minute, to be quite honest, guys. Swiss yen, call this long. I've been calling it long. Both safe havens. Gold's going up as well. Gives an extra boost maybe to the Swiss. Called it long from away down here. Do you remember, guys? Let's get out to the daily. I did trade this short at one stage and very quickly got stung. Where was it? Was it this level here or something? Because at the time I'd been doing this. Yeah, it was in and around here, guys. You see the little arrow short there? Yeah. So I tried to trade it short here because it was bumping up against this level, and it just didn't happen. It broke out, and as it broke out there, I just closed it in the trades. But the funny thing is that if you go to eToro, there's something like 90% of people were shorting this. And I remember saying at the time when it broke out, I said, "Whoa, I'm out of here. This is going to go long," and off it went, guys. And there it is. And obviously, you got to be patient. Either you took your profit there, or you had to wait a very long time. Might even have been stopped out there. Little zigzag back down, guys. Remember on the daily here, that took a few months, and then off it went again. And I think there's more upside to this. CAD Swiss, another one I'm long in. I've been very, very good at this over the years, folks. I think last year I had 100% in it. At the minute, it's. I got in. Let's get out of the daily. We'll look at it a bit closer, guys. Maybe get it at 4 hours. I got in it here, and it's moved short, and then Thursday, Friday, I was moving back up into break even area, but I see it's moving back again today. I'm not going to panic with it. Listen, I'll put a stop loss down there somewhere, just in case I am wrong with it. But I can see this moving long, guys, particularly with the oil price where it is. It's the war that's kept this, and the threat of war, should I say, that's kept this strong. And obviously, gold price strengthening up today. That's what's causing that little pullback. I don't know. I might get fed up with it and put a stop onto there. I do think if you hang on to this long enough, there'll be a move. Unfortunately, because of the war, we don't know. It's a big unknown, guys. So it's not like waiting for an industry decision or something like that. And CAD yen, same thing. It should break out long, but I'd prefer to see it maybe doing something like this. I don't know if it's going to do that, guys, but if it did something like that, I might look to trade that long. New Zealand yen, same thing as with the Aussie yen, guys. It's just too unpredictable at the minute. Probably going to go long, but I wouldn't try it. New Zealand CAD, I don't know. New Zealand Swiss, yet again, same thing as with the New Zealand yen. These will be moved around by the war. Ruble. You know, what can you say, folks? Anyone that traded long, back here somewhere will be, probably have taken their profit already, guys. They've done really, really well. If you're a Russian person and you have your savings and your pension and you've just lost 30-40% of your wealth, terrible for the people. But the oligarchs and the multimillionaires and the dictators of this world actually don't care a damn about ordinary people in the street trying to feed their kids, guys. But there you go. Okay, that's it for this week, folks. I'll see you. I'll see all 6 of you again next week. Bye for now.